What we learned from fantasy football in week 3, updated first read rate data, among other notes from Z to A. By the time we got to the end of the third quarter, the game was already 34-10. That's why I think we see so many rookies start getting involved here. Did not expect this ending up to be a committee, so realistically, my expectations for JCM have lowered drastically. I'd also keep an eye on Terry's practice schedule because he left the game and did not return with a quad injury. I love to see the consistency for Calvin Ridley in the first read rate, but it makes me just want to be taking a lot more chances on Alec Imor as he's able to actually produce on his opportunities. Mike Evans is dealing with a hamstring injury, and Mika gets a massive boost from this. I don't expect Godwin to be a massive factor when he's first back, but if you're looking for an intermediate or second option, I think Sterling Shepard could be an interesting streamer. Played out how we expected it to this weekend, considering Juwan Jennings did not play. This game ended up being a blowout, so there's not much to be taken away from it aside from Torrey Horton's continued ascension. The rookie touchdown leaders are Mika Ibuka and Torrey Horton, and if anything were to happen to Cooper Kupp, I imagine Torrey Horton's stock is going to skyrocket. I find it very interesting that in a close game that Calvin Austin actually had a higher first read rate than DK Metcalf, especially when there was no Christian Gonzalez. The Eagles finally ended up passing the ball, and the first read rate is what you would expect. Garrett Wilson clearly runs his offense, but I'm very intrigued by Aaron Smith's snap share continuing to rise each week. I think the biggest takeaway on the Giants is it's going to be Jackson Dart's time soon enough. This offense continues to be centered between Chris Olave and Juwan Johnson. This offense continues to be a nightmare for fantasy managers in trying to identify who they want to start outside of Drake May. With the fumbling issues, I'm also in belief that Trayvon Henderson's going to get more time to shine sooner than later. Not a lot of takeaway from a blowout, but realistically, I do expect a lot of usage for Jordan Addison once he gets back based off what we're seeing from Jalen Naylor. If Tyreek Hill gets moved, there's a very real chance that Jalen Waddle could go nuclear in fantasy football. I think you could technically have said there were signs last week, but I, along with most people, would have called you insane for this Trey Tucker game. If you drafted Ladd McConkey, I'm going to continue to tell people around you to buy low on him because variance has not played your way. If Justin Herbert continues to play like an MVP candidate, he is going to nuke when it comes to fantasy. Puka is most likely to be the wide receiver 1 in fantasy by the end of this season, and if you didn't draft him, well, that was your mistake.